So Kim Kardashian really ended up doing a great thing. Take a look at this. Alice Johnson. Trump grants Kardashian's clemency plea. President Trump has granted clemency to 63-year-old great-grandmother Alice Johnson, who has been serving life in prison for a non-violent drug offense. The case was highlighted last week when Kim Kardashian West met Mr. Trump to lobby for her release. The White House said she had been a model prisoner and worked hard to rehabilitate herself. Johnson was jailed in 1996 with 15 others for taking part in a cocaine distribution ring. She was convicted on charges of attempted possession of drugs and money laundering in Tennessee and is expected to be released soon. Johnson met the criteria for former President Barack Obama's Clemency Project 2014, but was turned down for release just days before the end of his term. Okay, so let me give you some more context on that, because that's a little misleading. One of the things I was giving Obama tremendous credit for is that towards the end of his time in office, he was really just going nuts releasing nonviolent drug offenders all over the place. Like, I think he released over 300 in his final, however long it was, month or so in office. He was like, yeah, okay, let's just get as many nonviolent drug offenders out as possible. So for whatever reason, I genuinely don't know why Alice Johnson was overlooked. You'd have to ask Obama why it was that he ended up, skipping over Alice Johnson, when he obviously shouldn't have, and credit to Trump for releasing her. There's no doubt about that. It's not like I'm going to be against it now because Trump did it. No, I'm 100% for it. I think it's a great thing that Trump released her, and I think it's great that Kim Kardashian was lobbying on her behalf, and that it worked. So, but Obama was releasing a lot of nonviolent drug offenders. So I think it's great that this happened. But of course, what I would like to see is, if we all agree, and really in our heart of hearts, we do all agree on this, that non-violent drug offenders are not really criminals. They didn't do violence, and whatever crime they were involved in just had to do with drugs. To me, that's like, okay, you were selling fucking Jack Daniels, Like, is that so bad? No. So what? It was a different substance. Whoop-de-doo. Who gives a shit? So if we all agree that non-violent drug offenders are not criminals, fucking release them all. Release them all. Release them all. If I was president, that would be one of the first things I did. I would sign, I would get in there and do pardons and commutations and just say, yes, every nonviolent drug offender, you're now free. And by the way, that would mean we empty like about maybe 20, 30% of our federal prisons like that. But that's the right thing to do, so I would do that. But what's crazy is Donald Trump, not that long ago, and I'm sure you remember, we covered it in detail because it was just unbelievable. He was talking about how, no, we have to be even harder on these people. We need to consider the death penalty for drug dealers. What? The fuck is wrong with you? We covered that, and I was shocked and disgusted by it, because that's like old school third world authoritarian bullshit there. So Trump went from saying that not that long ago to now pardoning a nonviolent drug offender, which shows me, of course, as we've said all along, he has no ideology. He just doesn't. So what made him release Alice Johnson in particular? Well, it was simple. Kim Kardashian said, hey, can you please release her? And he was like, tremendous, unbelievable, believe me. I'm going to do that, Kim. Unbelievable, let me just tell you. So, and again, I'm for it, so good. I'm glad that, she was released. It's just crazy to me, though, that, like, you are for fucking killing drug dealers not that long before it. And I don't know what the fuck his position is now. Obviously, it's both at the same time. And doesn't that just sum up Trump perfectly? And you pick the issue, and this is what he's like. Like outsourcing, for example. He goes in there, access TPP. Well, that's great. Now what are we talking about? They're slipping in provisions of the TPP, in fact, the worst provisions of it, into the renegotiation of NAFTA. Mr. I'm against outsourcing, and he campaigned on that, outsourced 93,000 jobs. I can go on and on. It's so many things of like, oh, he says this and then he does that. He said he wants to kill the drug dealers, and he's like, okay, let's release a nonviolent drug offender here. So, release them all, Donald Trump. Release them all. And Kim, keep using your celebrity status to do good in the world. And by the way, there was a lot of unfair shit that was said against Kim Kardashian when she visited Trump in the White House. Like, some headlines like Trump meets Rump or whatever, and you could tell that the coverage was just like laughing at it completely. Now, I get laughing at it. There's nothing wrong with that. But the notion of like, oh, she has no business doing this. It's like, well, hold on now. Donald Trump is a reality star and he became president. So if another reality star wants to use her celebrity status to actually do some good in the world, when another reality star is using his celebrity status to not do good in the world, do the opposite, well, then how can I be against that? And by the way, on this issue alone, she has now used her celebrity status for more good in the world than most people with some sort of celebrity status. So that's great, and I hope she keeps going. I hope she keeps getting politically involved, and I hope she counterbalances her dumbass husband, Kanye West. Because as Kanye's out there propping up obvious charlatans and con men and con women like Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk, Kim Kardashian can balance that out with, getting pardons and commutations for nonviolent drug offenders. And maybe, just maybe, if Kanye loves the right-wing political talkers, maybe Kim can start getting into the left-wing political talkers. Quick, somebody send Kim some secular talk clips. Somebody send Kim some Jimmy Dore clips. Somebody send Kim some, I don't know, Humanist Report, the Young Turks, whatever. Send it. And then maybe, they can fight every night over who's correct. The asshole right-wingers who make shit up or us.